Hello and welcome. This is Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining me today. In this video, we're going to go into day 19 of the Spellbinders Crafty Advent Calendar. I can't believe we're on day 19 already. If you don't want to know what's in here, pause this video, save it to watch for later, but we're opening it up and I'll show you what's in there. So we have this cute little stamp set that has 4 different sentiments that work really well with a lot of the different things that we've been getting in this calendar. And they'll also work so well throughout the year with other supplies that you have. So the first one is Happy Birthday Wishes. We have a Sweet Day, which is the one I'm going to use on the card today. And then You Are Adored and Warmest Thanks. It has a nice unique font with it that I think are going to be perfect for so many different cards. So I'm going to pair it with the Day 12 die set, which is the little drink cup with the straw and the citrus piece of fruit. I have a piece of Hammermill cardstock here that I've cut down to 3 3/4 inches by 5.5 inches. I'm going to do some ombre ink blending on my cup die cut, and I'm using distress inks with Saltwater, Taffy, and Abandoned Coral. So I did the Saltwater Taffy first and then Abandoned Coral towards the bottom of the cup. In the center of my white piece of cardstock, I just used that Saltwater Taffy. I just want a little bit of color behind the glass so that when those areas that are white of the die cut go on that background, I don't have white on white again. So I also wanted to pair it with the Day 11 embossing folder. I thought it could look a little bit like a tablecloth. So I put that towards the bottom of my piece of cardstock, and then I'm embossing it in my Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine using the 3D embossing folder or the 3D embossing stacking. So I have that embossed on the bottom there, and then I'm going to use my sticky mat once again to put it on and then do a little bit of ink blending on that bottom emboss piece just to make it stand out a little bit. So I first did it without masking the top, and I thought it would be better if I took some scrap paper, put it along the top just to protect it, and then do a little bit more ink blending. So I'm doing that ink blending with Saltwater Taffy just so it's not too prominent. And then I thought it wasn't quite prominent enough, so I took the Abandoned Coral and just lightly swiped it on there. And you can see I get kind of streaks and lines, but I left it with that. I thought it kind of created a little bit of a unique background. I could have also done that with just the Saltwater Taffy pad, and I would have had some dark areas, but they wouldn't have been quite as prominent as the Abandoned Coral. So that's another option. Before starting to put my card together, I want to use that stamp set from day 19 and add my sentiment to my card front. Anytime I have a new stamp set, I use a white eraser, stamp along or on top of this stamping surface just to remove any manufacturing residue, and then use a brush to remove any of those eraser bits. Now, typically I don't brush off those eraser bits right over my Misti or my sticky mat, but I wanted to make sure that it was in camera as well as the fact that I would remember to mention it. So I stamped my sentiment a couple times just to make sure that it's nice and clear and nice and prominent on my card. I chose to do it up at the top so that it didn't interfere with the embossed area at the bottom. You could also stamp it on a separate piece of cardstock and then trim it and then put it right onto that bottom piece as well. So that's another option, or you could even put it on the inside of the card. I think that would look great as well. I have a piece of Dahlia Cardstock here that is cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4. It's going to make a nice mat to go around the outside of my image piece here. Now I chose kind of a corally pink and white color scheme for this. You could use whatever color scheme you want, and I think it would look great. I kept it very simple. I wanted it not to be too prominent. I wanted to still make sure that that sentiment was quite visible. And I thought if I added too many colors, it might get a little bit lost in there. So I kept it just a very simple color scheme. My die cuts here for the citrus are done with Dahlia Cardstock as well as pink sand, so I have that 2-tone there. And then the ring on top of my cup is done with white cardstock. My straw is die cut with Dahlia Cardstock, and I really just love I just love this color scheme, really. For the day that I was working on this, it just worked perfect, and I was really happy with the final result of it. Now with all my die cuts cut and ready to go, I can glue them to the front of the card. Now for this card, I chose not to add any glossy accents or stickles, but you certainly could if you wanted to add a little bit of extra shine or some dimension. You could add that to it as well and would really enhance it. I kept the inside of my card blank, but you could also stamp a sentiment on the inside as well with that same ink, and I think it would look fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the project we made with day 19, and I will see you tomorrow and we'll find out what's in day 20.